Guys. I got a little sore throat going on here. Okay. This is a reminder that when you file for SSI or SSD, the onus is upon you to be developing via medical treatment the medical record evidence of the fact that you have diagnoses and the ongoing medical evidence of how it continues to be very limiting or somewhat limiting. Altogether, things have to be very limiting to prevail in the claim, right? So if you are, let's say you don't have insurance and you're not able to work for whatever reason medically, and you have filed, but you're not getting ongoing treatment with specialists, primary care, mental health, if that's an issue. Even if that's not like a disabling issue, but it limits you in certain ways, which is why you go to the therapist. You want to maybe handle things better, what have you. All those things have got to be ongoing. Now, if you don't have insurance and you don't have income and you're not otherwise born with a silver spoon or, have a sugar daddy, you can find yourself in a predicament here. So I need to remind you that you need to try and try again to get Medicaid. I know in some states it's more difficult than others, but there is often a way for medically impaired people who can't work to get medical assistance. So you need to aggressively pursue that through your county usually. So it's like state medical assistance, but each county generally has their own. Could be the Department of Health and Human Services. There's different names for different locations call it something different. But it's really, really important that you get that Medicaid, because without the treatment, you're not going to be able to win your case. Sometimes people say, well, I end up going to the hospital then. That might be, but that is going to be about one particular impairment, and it might not take you out of all jobs. Some impairments make it impossible to walk far or to stand long. But then there's the sitting factor. Well, then sit. There's plenty of jobs, skilled and unskilled, that involve sitting. So it's important that you look at every other body part and see if any of those sitting jobs would be eliminated due to problems with hands, perhaps neck, vision, hearing. All these things can really come into play. Even feet can sometimes implicate sitting, because if you can't have your feet on the ground, or your legs, because sitting causes swelling, because for you, at least multiple times a day, you have to elevate your legs to reduce that swelling, along with, obediently wearing compression stockings and such, whatever is recommended by your doctor. So all of these things have to come into play, and you can't get to these specialists if you don't have other, a cash cow or insurance. It's just the unfortunate practicalities of the world. So when it comes to, if you are on the poor side, aggressively go to Medicaid. Some of them, ironically, may seem to require that you win SSI before you can get the Medicaid, but that doesn't really help, does it? And I can't speak to each state's requirements. So it's really important that you do your due diligence and apply and appeal and apply and appeal. Find out why they deny you, if they deny you. And then, it might be something that a lot of people get those appeals overturned, on appeal, the denial. So you have to be aggressive, because if you don't get your treatment, you're not going to be able to prevail in your case. You're just not. And a lawyer is not going to be able to jump on board because you have not done this. So for a multitude of reasons, not to mention your own health, you really need to do this. So know that there is Medicaid out there. Sometimes, it's available more and easier in some locations than others. Maybe look into that. You don't necessarily have to continue living where you're living necessarily. I mean, if you own the place, yeah, maybe you'd have to sell it to move someplace else. But that might not be the case. So anyway, Medicaid, you have to get on it if you don't have other insurance and you have no avenue for other insurance. Okay. I will add that some people they're not completely unable to do anything. They just can't work full time, and they will work part-time at something that is very, very accommodating to their disability. So they don't pick a job that's going to torture them, but that they can do, 10, 15 hours a week, staying under SGA if at all possible. And they use that income because they already have a place to live, maybe with a loved one or something. And they use that income exclusively to buy health insurance. It could be on the exchange, the marketplace, or otherwise. But that is another option for those that are not completely unable to do anything for gain, even like a part-time. Doesn't have to necessarily be high paying, but maybe if you make $500 a month, you can buy that insurance. That insurance will get you to the doctors, and that will help build your evidence. Maybe make a little bit more than you need in the premiums because there's going to be co-pays too, usually when you buy insurance. But if you get the Medicaid, by and large, the co-pays can disappear, and your medications are now paid for. There's so many benefits that are really helpful, when you're in need like this and have severe medical problems. So you need to be very proactive and look into how it works in your area. Okay. And pursue it and be the squeaky wheel. All right. I hope that helps. I hate to see it when I get someone who I could tell is completely disabled and they have zero medical evidence because they don't go and they're falling apart and they don't have, the savings account with which to do it, and they don't have the insurance with which to do it, and they're just suffering, and they're trying to get help. And I can't provide that kind of help. I can only provide representation, and I can't represent a case where there's no evidence to represent on. So we have to get over this hump one way or the other. So perseverance. Okay. Talk to you later. Real quick add on here. I was looking at this after I shot out that message to you, and I just got to delete this one page so I can see what I was looking at. I found the page from Medicaid.gov. I think it's Medicaid.gov. Yeah. And they have all 50 states. So you can go to this site, and I'm going to put it down in the comments of this whole connected video here. Click on your state, scroll down, and see how much eligibility is available in your state for Medicaid. So, sometimes they're changing. I happen to be looking at Pennsylvania right now. And again, I don't do Medicaid law at all, but it's just something that you have to pursue if you need to get treatment, specialists and everything, surgeries, whatever it is, primary care, medications, and you're otherwise saying you can't afford it. It looks like Pennsylvania, and very recently made some changes. And I think it's for all low income people. And they base it off the federal poverty level, and they look at your modified adjusted gross income. So you don't have to be incomeless, but you have to be low income. So I don't think that means that you have to be proven disabled by the SSA in order to be found in need here. I'm not going to go into any details on any states, including Pennsylvania, because I haven't read it all on it. This was just changed recently, but I think that this page could be really useful. And then normally when I'm helping someone find their local office, then they can go pursue it. I usually do a search under Medicaid and then the county, or medical assistance, and then the county that they're in and the state they're in. So that's kind of like a search with those terms. And you're usually going to come up with your state's department that handles that. Or you might see the county, because, sometimes you can go in person. You can apply online. I think you can apply on phone in some places. So it's stuff you got to know, and you got to lift the finger and you have to do it. You just have to do it. Anyway, I'm going to put this page, which gives you, each state by state, so you can see what your state requires. Like, do you have to be already found disabled, or can we find you disabled? Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. They actually have a lot of like headers and then a little plus sign. So you can click on the plus sign, open it up, and it'll explain to you what's going on there. So it looks like it's for every state. I haven't looked at all the states. I just looked at mine, see what was going on. But it seems like a real helpful page. So I'm going to post it for you. I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.